If you're like me, you might start out your day with grand ambitions of the perfect morning routine, where you wake up at 5 a.m., then meditate for an hour, followed by a journaling session, manifesting your dream life. Then you exercise. Yeah, right. Or maybe your reality is similar to mine. In my quest to always get things right, I get stuck with overthinking, paralyzed almost, afraid to make a decision in case it's the wrong one. In case it's not perfect, because then it means I'm not perfect. It's exhausting. So how do you get a grip on this overthinking before it leads to more anxiety and stress over the smallest decisions? Let's see if you can spot some patterns. With breakfast, I'd agonize over what to eat. Granola and yogurt, eggs and spinach, green smoothie. Options paralysis. Not able to decide, I'd usually just go with coffee. Which meant that 2 hours later, I'd be starving and reach for the nearest thing, usually filled with sugar. And then when it came to working out, again the endless options. Yoga, strength training, cardio, unable to decide. Guess I'll just do all of them. And then I'm even more exhausted now. And then there was the evening routine, how to wind down for the day. Journaling, meditation, self-care. Unable to decide, I would turn to the internet for advice. And then, well, you know how it goes. I'm still here. It's past 11:30 p.m. I've been down the internet rabbit hole and I'm still here. If you can relate to that too, there are two big things for perfectionists to get over. And I'm going to show you what they are and what I did and still have to do to this day to overcome my perfectionist tendencies. Did you spot the first pattern? Having all the options and then it becomes options paralysis. This, my friend, is FOMO, or the fear of missing out, one of the perfectionist's downfalls. Perhaps you might have spotted another pattern going on here, and it might not seem so obvious at first. Because of FOMO or this indecision and second guessing, you end up delaying making a decision, sometimes even distracting yourself from picking one thing and doing the thing. This is another one of the perfectionist's downfalls, procrastinating. So what can you do as a perfectionist to get over FOMO or procrastinating? There are 3 things I remind myself anytime I get to a place of feeling stuck or overwhelmed with not being able to make a decision. Maybe this might help you too. So let's use our 3 scenarios from earlier again. With breakfast, I had too many different nutrition theories swimming around in my head. So rather than hating myself for making the wrong decision, I could have a little grace and empathy for myself and tell myself, maybe that wasn't the best idea, but tomorrow is another day and I'll pick another breakfast and see how I feel.
Cheers!
It sounds so simple, but sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves. So my first reminder is always be kind to yourself. Go easy with yourself on whatever decision you end up making. I have to be conscious when FOMO strikes. Anytime a variety of options presents itself, I have to remind myself to recognize that there is no right or wrong decision, just different options. Even if you make the wrong decision, you learn a little more about your likes and dislikes, but more importantly, you learn to trust your decision making. Ultimately, letting go of looking at it as making the right or wrong decision also helps you build that self-trust. So let's talk about procrastinating. At first glance, it doesn't seem like a perfectionist trait, but procrastinating is a delay tactic. And why are you delaying making a decision? Perhaps it's because you don't want to make the wrong decision. You might end up distracting yourself doing other things. Maybe you get paralyzed with indecision, but ultimately you feel stuck. Whenever I find myself in moments like this, I remind myself making any decision and taking one step forward is better than being paralyzed with indecision and staying stuck. So perhaps you're already aware of some of these patterns you fall into, or you might know some of these ways to get over them, but are you still second-guessing yourself a lot? Well, you're going to want to work on building more of that self-trust, because that's going to really help you get clear on what you want. And you're going to want to watch this video because it's going to help you with the 2 techniques I use daily to build that self-trust. See you there.